Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Walnut Lodge Yoga, Volent location. This is the Saturday morning 8:30 flow. And here I am in one of my new t-shirts. So if you're interested in any kind of Walnut Lodge gear, I just got a whole bunch of new stuff in. I never do commercials for merchandise because it just isn't part of what I do. But you got to do what you can do to keep afloat. But the lodge is doing really well, and I'm really happy that the in-person classes, people are coming back, people that I haven't seen in a really long time. And then here we are back at it after a 4-week break. I had a hard time really this morning even remembering how we did this. So here we are, and I'm going to do something different this session, this summer session. I'm going to work one series. I have a really old series that I like a lot, but it has too much material in it for an hour and a half class. So what I'm going to do through the summer is I'm going to work this series in pieces, so that by the end I think I'll have enough of an idea of how to break it apart. I mean, it takes a long time to figure these things out, and you can't just like think about it. You have to do it, and then see how you feel, and then keep going back and forth. So, I'm looking at the board. I see Lisa and I see Corey out there. So hi you guys. And I have the hiccups. Can you believe it? So you guys have been with the Walnut Lodge for a really long time. And feel free after the class or sometime during the week to give me comments about this. I've never actually worked a series with people and asked for feedback. So this will be kind of new, but it'd be really interesting to see what you guys think about, like how the different pieces go together. Excuse me. So we're going to need a couple blocks, and I'm not sure about a strap, but just get one handy. And I'm not really sure about this meditation cushion, or you could have a bolster or a pillow. This will be optional at one point. We'll definitely need those blocks, and probably the strap. Because what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go slow and introduce the technical pieces, and I'll try to then, not do all of that today because it'll be a super slow class, but today and maybe probably next week, it'll be a little bit more talking, a little bit more just experimenting with positions. All right, so I'm going to get a drink to see if maybe that can get rid of my hiccups. And then we're going to come over into a child pose with the arms extended and just sit back. So my hips are up off of my heels. I'm just relaxing a little bit into the hips. Mainly, I'm trying to feel that nice reach across my rib cage, the sides from my hips through my armpits. And then we come up, table, fingers in for the little cats. So spread the fingers nice and wide. Knees almost together. So we inhale here. Exhale, pull the chin. Point your feet. Reach the tailbone through the legs and pull it up to your face. That's all the air goes out here. And then slow inhale. Ujjayi if you can. To the flat back. And then exhale. Flex the ankles. Reach the chest. Shoulder blades pull down. Push the elbows out. Reach the sternum through. This is an exhale, not an inhale. So we're actively lifting the stomach and then using our shoulder blades and our back to just try to push the chest away from that upward lifting stomach. All the air goes out, and then we inhale to the flat back. Exhale. Tuck your chin, find the neck stretch, push away from your hands. Feel the shoulder space open. Pull the belly, pull the tailbone, point your feet, and then squeeze your knees together and see if you can feel that line from your inner thighs to your pubic bone and lift that up into your waist. And then inhale to the flat back. Exhale, flex the ankles, push out on the arms. Pull, you'll be able to feel the shoulder blades better. Pull the shoulder blades back, reach the chest forward. Exhaling all the air, stomach is lifted. And inhale, long spine. Tuck the chin, push the waist, point your feet, squeeze your thighs. Drive your sit bones down. Pull the belly up. Inhale. Lengthen. Exhale. Flex the ankles. Push the elbows out. Shoulder blades down. Find the shoulders. Push the chest. This time, push the sit bones wide. If you can't feel that, just push your knees on the floor. Trying to go sideways with the knees. And then you should be able to feel the sit bones go wide. You feel the sides of your legs. A lot of stuff to remember. And inhale, lengthen. Ujjayi if you can. One more here. Tuck the chin. Press the hands. Knees are squeezing. Point your feet. Pull the belly. Drive the sit bones down. Find the space. And inhale. Ujjayi, let the air just rush in. Flex the ankles. Push. Exhale. Chest forward. Exhale all of your air. And then push the sit bones and the knees to the side. Feel that change in your sacrum. And inhale. Lengthen. Rotate your fingers open. Wrists are together. Tuck your chin. Push from your hands. Pull your belly. Drive your sit bones. Point your feet. All the air goes out. Press your whole hand into the mat. Inhale. Lengthen. Rotate the elbows open. Flex the ankles. And then try to push the elbows out towards the little fingers. Pull the shoulder blades down. Feel the chest go forward. All the air goes out. And inhale, lengthen. Exhale, tuck the chin. Squeeze the knees. Pull the pubic bone. Drive the sit bone. Find the space. And inhale. Long spine. Just let the torso fill. Exhale, flex the ankles, push the elbows, chest goes forward, shoulder blades down, belly lifts to push out that last little bit of air. And inhale, lengthen. Tuck the chin. Exhale, push, stretch the neck, push through your hands, point your feet. Lift your belly, drive your sit bones, squeeze the knees together. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, flex the ankles, push the elbows, shoulders down, sternum reach. Exhale all the air. Feel that stomach lift against your spine. Push the knees and sit bones to the side. Keep those shoulder blades pulling back. And inhale, lengthen. Tuck the chin. Squeeze the knees. Drive the sit bones. Pull the belly. Press through the hands. Point your feet. Squeeze your knees. Inhale, lengthen. Flex the ankles. Push the elbows. Chest forward. Blades down. Reach the sit bones to the side. And inhale, lengthen. Rotate your fingers all the way back. Tuck your chin. Push. Pull the belly. Squeeze the knees. Point your feet. Find that neck stretch. Really go for that low back. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, flex the ankles. Push the knees. Chest forward. All the air goes out. Try to bend the elbows and press towards the fingers. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, push. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, arch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, push. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, arch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curl. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, arch. Inhale, lengthen, and then move the knees forward. Sit back, and then just a little bit of time here. Press your fingers into the mat. Press your thumb. Let that stretch. And release. And rotate. One way and then the other. All right, then monkey hands. So back to the hands. Straighten the arms. Make a fist. Just relax. Put a little bit of weight. Release. Rotate that one more time. All right, so I started out pretty chilly because it's chilly here at my house today, and I have long sleeves on because of that. But after those cats, that's actually a breathing exercise, I'm sweating. So that's kind of what you're going for here. Can you engage everything and use that breath pattern to build the heat? And so, if you can manage that, then, the cats are a pretty decent warm-up, right? So we're going to just reach our hands forward, tuck our toes, and sit back. You can sit back to here. You can come all the way up and sit on your heels. For some people, this is not comfortable. I mean, it's not comfortable for me, but I can do it. And then let your feet roll from the big toe across the metatarsal arch to the little toe, just a couple times back and forth, right? And then kind of settle where you feel the most need, that stretch. For me, it's always the inside. That's the case for most people, but not everybody. So we're just allowing the whole bottom of the foot to open. We have all of these nerve endings there. So if you go to reflexology, they work the bottoms of your feet because they're connected, to all your organs. And then come on down, extend. I'm just going to sit back again just for a couple of seconds to let the toes adjust to that. And then reach the hands forward again, tuck the toes and press back to a down dog, but not really a down dog. Switch the weight to the right leg, and then press through the heel, pull your quad up, feel your fingers. Just let that leg lengthen through the back. Try to feel that sit bone. The sit bone is going up because you're pushing from your fingers all the way up and back. Kneecap is lifted. And then change to your left leg. Push through the heel. Pull that kneecap. Just let that calf stretch. Breathe. And then just press through both, see where that is for you. Try to pick the toes up off the mat. Roll your thighs in. Feel that. And then come on down. This time throw your legs out in the front. All right, so we're going to do the other two hand stretches. So we're going to interlace our fingers, and then we're going to stretch them to straight behind us. The first time we're going to take our thumbs and push them towards our spine. So, no, sorry, away from our spine. So I'll just turn around. So we interlace our fingers, thumbs are up against our sacrum. Then we're going to turn our hands, put them on the ground, thumbs are away from you. Now, wiggle yourself forward and then press your chest up. So you feel the front of your shoulders stretch, right? Now we're just going to hold this. But what you're going to try to do is you're going to try to reach the base of your index finger to the ground. My index finger is not on the ground. So I'm going to keep pushing my chest. Feel a big stretch through the front of my arms, through the front of my chest. I'm just going to breathe and push that up. Push it up again. You have to kind of keep pushing this up. Now, if you're like me and you don't have the index finger down on the ground, what I want you to do is just separate your fingers a little bit, push the index finger down on the ground, and lift the chest up again. So now you feel the stretch through the lower arm and into the shoulders. You know, or maybe you're one of the lucky ones that don't feel this. Just keep lifting the chest, pressing through the arms, trying to feel the base of your index finger stretch. Again, lift the chest, roll the shoulders. That's getting a little more open, right? Just a couple more seconds here. And release. Yeah, so I feel this stretch right here on the outside of my lower arm. So just kind of wiggle and squeeze. You know, the wrist is complicated, you know, because of this rotary motion around the elbow. You know, your thumb, the radius rotates around. And so it's really hard to get that part of your arm stretch. Why would you want to stretch it? Well, because it's part of that whole complex of the wrist, right? And you can get to the point where, you know, it's restricting you, and maybe you think that it's just in this plane, but maybe it isn't. Maybe it's in the rotated plane towards, or it's in the same plane but rotated inward. All right, so you have to kind of work all of these different positions. All right, and we're going to do just one more of this. And so we're going to interlace our fingers, put them behind, but this time we're going to turn them the other way. All right, so your hands will be down on the ground like this. So interlace. You're going to push your thumbs down towards you and then try to go open, right? Now, I can't do it. Oh, it's better than it has been though. I'm going to open my fingers, right? Getting my fingers as much towards the center line as I can. And then I'm going to try it again. I'm pressing down on the ground. If you can keep your hands interlaced and push them this way and put the palms down, that's where you want to be. So same thing. Lift the chest, press the hands, and breathe. If you're hyperextended, keep your elbows a little bent. And release. Whoa. Rotate in and out. Now that one really gets me because I hyperextended my elbow several times, so that whole line has too much motion in it. And then bend the elbow. So this is really for the lower arm, but then after this, you know, even if your wrists were a little sore after the hand stretches, after these your wrists have a nice fluidity to them. All right. So we're gonna go and skip a couple things in the series and then go to a little bit more of hip work and then come back up. There's a lot of hands and feet in this series. Why would you want to work the lines to the hands and the feet? Well, because I just said your feet have all these nerve endings to your organs and your hands are super complex. So this is kind of about that. So we're going to roll down on our spine. And then pull your feet in as close as you can get to your hips. Now, we're just going to do a couple rocks here. So you're going to push your pelvis towards your thighs. See how much of your back you can get off the ground. And then press the low back into the ground. Tuck your tailbone. Lift the tailbone and the sacrum up. And then feel the waist press. So just inhale. Push your pelvis towards your thighs. And exhale. Push up. Inhale. Anterior tilt. Exhale. Posterior tilt. Inhale. Anterior tilt. Exhale. Posterior tilt. Inhale. Push. Exhale. Pull that pubic bone towards your face. Inhale. Tailbone to the ground. Exhale. Tailbone reaching to the ceiling. Now we're going to go a little higher next time. Inhale. Tailbone to the ground. Exhale. Tuck that tailbone and push it up a little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit more. So that you feel like there's a straight line between your knees and your shoulders. You have a long low back. And this is just a little bridge. So you want to feel the sit bones reaching towards the knees. The pubic bone pulling. So we're not arching in our back. We're in a long position through the waist so that you don't have a stress point. And then release just the upper back. Feel the ribs come down. Really tuck under and then try to get the waist down before the sacrum hits and release. One more time. Tuck the tailbone, feel the waist press, and then feel like you're taking the pelvis up because you're lifting the sit bones to the ceiling, not the waist. The sit bones are scooping under. And you feel that work. Shoulder blades are relaxed. Right? You feel weight on your shoulders. Your neck is nice and long. You feel that work through your hamstrings and your glutes. If you press into your feet, you can push the pelvis a little higher because you'll feel your hamstrings engage a bit. You'll feel actually your quads are going to engage here because your legs are trying to straighten. So that's going to kind of pull the pelvis up a little bit also. And then release the upper back and the middle back and the waist and the sacrum. All right. So we're kind of just breaking down some of these components for this next piece. So we're going to drop that left knee towards the ground. and slowly pull it back up. Now, feel your right hip. Drop that left knee. Don't move your hip. So what I like to do is I'm going to pivot my heel up to the ceiling. The pivot point is going to be the metatarsal of my little toe. All right, and this we'll get this later too. So I have to really hold with my left side. All right, and then rotate the knee back up and put the heel down. Now we do that again. Let that knee go to the side, pick your heel up. And remember, your ankle it's flexed, it's not flexed completely. Pick the heel up, rotate that heel to the ceiling, pull the knee to the side, anchor with your right side. Now take your heel and push it forward. So now what's happening is that you're flexing that ankle as much as you can. And then pull it back up and put your heel down. So you can see the heel pretty clearly from this angle. We're going to do that one more time. Pick the heel up just a little bit. Rotate the heel towards the ceiling as the knee opens. Push the heel towards, actually away from you. Your ankle will go into more of a flexion, right? And that knee is going to just continue to open, but you're not going to let it drop. I'm going to drop it right now. So for me to drop that knee down, I have to lift my pelvis on the other side. So now you can really see my heel pushing forward. Okay, yeah, as it's flexion. I'm going to sit up a second here. So this heel bit is going to be real important later. So I'm just going to do it facing you, sitting up. So what I did was I lifted my heel, which you can't see here. I'm going to drop my knee to the side. Then I'm going to take my heel and push it forward. I'm not going to rest the whole outside of my foot on the ground. I want to keep this rotation of the heel going up. That's going to help that knee going down. All right, so we're going to keep that. And so if I let go of the push of my heel, my ankle releases some of its flex. So I'm going to push that heel, your maximum flexion, knee is going down, heel is going up. And then as I pull my leg back to the center, I go back to parallel. All right, so we're going to do the other side like this. That's one of the problems with this series, is there's all of these little teeny-weeny details so that make a huge difference. So we're going to drop our right leg to the side, pick the heel up, push the heel towards the ceiling, and then push it away from you. Let that knee open, and you can see how much stretch you have on that inner thigh. And then rotate it back up, heel down. And again, lift the heel, let that knee drop, push the heel away from you. Don't let the heel touch the ground, so the inside of your heel is going up, the heel is pushing away, and the knee is reaching towards the ground. And lift that leg back up, foot down. Just one more of those. Lift the heel, rotate the heel up, let the knee drop, and then push that heel away from you. Keep that knee trying to open. And release that, come up. Now just drop both knees to the left, easy, and see how much internal rotation you can get on that top hip. And then come up and drop the knees to the right. And inhale up and go left and up. And go right and up and left and up and right and a couple more and left and up and right and up and left and up. A couple more, and right and up and left and up. Just let it go. Right. My left side's way tighter than my right. And here we're just going for the drop. Now next time you go to the left, stay there. The right leg is down. Pick up your left foot and put your heel on the top of that thigh, just to give yourself a little more resistance. Now, make sure that you don't feel a strain on the inside of your knee. So how do you make that not happen if you feel it? Well, pull your heel a little closer to your hip so that that right knee is bent a little bit more, and that should take care of that. And if it doesn't, then just move this and come back up. And now drop to the right. Same thing. Pick up the left leg, the right leg, which is the lower leg. Put it on the top. And then just let that leg help you get a little bit more stretch across that quad. And come on back up. All right, now we're going to do the first thing that we did, and we're going to drop both knees open at the same time. So pick your heels up, let both knees open. All right, so now my heels are pressing up, but they kind of run into each other, so I got to kind of slide my feet open a little bit so I can press my heels forward. And actually, we're going to use this position an awful lot in this series. So I'm going to pull my legs back up, and I'm just going to do it one more time here, and then we're going to do this sitting. So open the knees, heels left, push the heels forward so that you're at maximum flexion. And as you push the knees forward here, push your sit bones towards your heels. You're going to try to tuck your tailbone under so that your back gets a little flatter, and you're going to try to feel your sit bones push towards your heels as your knees try to open. I'm just going to hold that so you can feel that sit bone. Pull your belly up, right? Sit bones are reaching. And pull the legs to a parallel position. Now, usually in my classes where we use this a lot, we tie our legs together. And I would if we were going to stay here a little bit longer. But just check and see what the inside-outside alignment is for you in terms of tension. So if I let go of my legs, they automatically just both drop to the outside, which is telling me that my outside line from my knee through my hip is tight. So as I release, the tension just pulls up. For me to keep my knees in this position, I have to really kind of squeeze them together almost. So if your legs just kind of drop in, it just kind of means that those hips are, normally just relaxed. I can get mine there, but it takes a little bit more work than what I have just done. All right, so let's roll to our side and come up. And then let's look at that two-legged flexion one more time. So with one leg, if I straighten it and try to rotate, my toes come off the ground, right? So we're not trying to do that. We're trying to keep our heels lifted, and we're going to try to push our heels forward. Now, you can see a little bit I can fit my hands underneath my feet. So that's kind of what we're trying to do. The heels lift up, the knees are going to the side, right? And I'm pushing them forward. If I keep pushing them forward, of course, my legs are going to straighten. And then after I get to a certain place, the outside of my feet are on the ground. I'm still trying to push my heels up. This is about trying to find that rotation. And then if I keep pressing them to straight, eventually the outsides of my feet come off the ground because I don't have that much external rotation. I have quite a bit, way more than inner thigh, inner rotation. And then let's just pull that back. So we'll see this action a lot in this series. I'm not going to do any more with it today, but this is opposite of the internal rotation that we're going to do right now. So we're going to do one leg at a time. And first we're going to pull our heel real close to our sit bone. And we're just going to take that leg and rotate it in. Right? Now, feel both sit bones on the ground and then just move the leg in. I can only go this far. For me to go all the way over, I have to move my pelvis. So this is the amount of rotation I have in my hip going to the inside, which is not very much. And then if I want to take it further, like all the way down to that leg, or if I move that leg and take it all the way down, you can see how much I have to twist my pelvis. So we're going to go up, and then we're going to go down. And then we're just going to do this nice and easy. Up and down. It'll feel pretty good. Up, my heel is really close to my hip, and down. And I'm actually rotating my heel to the ceiling, right? But it's opposite of what we just did because the toes are staying down. The big toe is staying down. I'm pivoting actually on my big toe and up. And you want to do that. You want to feel that joint. For some of us, we don't have that motion. But we're going to try to keep that because our feet are kind of one of the most neglected part of us. And, you lose your feet, you can't do a whole lot of things, right? So this flexion, pushing through the toes, and then when you come back, feel this sit bone is going to pull down to the ground. Couple more. Forward, pull it in, rotate in, pull it in. So, what is this position? Well, if I left my knee here and pulled my foot back and stretched it, I'm in a half hero. All right, so we're just going to come into that. So some of us don't even really need to do these kind of prelims, these preliminary exercises, but why I'm doing it is because you need to know what we're going for here. So just a couple more on this leg. So you know how much rotation you have without lifting the sit bone, and then you know what you need to do to get that knee all the way down, how much twist you need to add. All right? And we'll see this every week. Like I said, this series is just going to keep going. One more time. Rotate it down, pull it up, and then stretch that leg long, rotate it. So you can feel how much more of a drop that left hip has than your right hip, or whichever leg you used. All right, I was using my left. All right, coming on up, other side. So pulling that heel in, it's kind of right across, my heel is right across from my sit bone, and we're just going to take the knee in. I have quite a bit more, not quite a bit more, I have a little bit more on this leg than the other leg, internal rotation that is. So I'm pulling, and I'm pulling back. And I'm pulling, and I'm pulling back. What am I pulling with? Inner thighs pulling, and then I'm letting my hip pull it back. Or you could use your hand if you want, and release it back. And hand, and release it back. And hand, release it back. Now we're going to go all the way down and come back. And all the way down you can see this foot, I think, a little clearer, and all the way back. And take it down and all the way back. James, I think someone asked me a question. I can't read it though. And down.
Can we move the right leg out of the way to go farther down?
Yes. The answer is yes. Is that Corey? Yeah, let it.
We'll keep the questions later.
Okay, so Corey wanted to know, can you move your leg to get the knee all the way down? The answer is yes. I'm kind of doing whatever I need. But you notice how much, like, I bet you Corey can get all the way down here, you know, without moving their pelvis much. Actually, after warming up a little bit, you know, I'm getting a little bit more rotation, but I still have to move that pelvis. All right, so just a couple more here with this. And, you know, this is easy movement. I mean, we're not straining. We're just letting that hip glide as freely as we can in the joint. Why would you want to do this? Well, you might have a little arthritis. I have a little arthritis in my left hip, but it doesn't really restrict my motion much. Why is that? I don't know. Maybe because I keep moving, right? Couple more. One more. This time, pull that leg back, half hero. Now, you know, the position of our hero isn't just a reflection of how much internal rotation we have or we don't have. It's also the knee. So my knee isn't too bad right now after all of that, but, you know, I've had a couple operations on this knee. You know, one from a long time ago, high school, right? So I have to keep at it. But after I work it, you know, it feels pretty good. And you can see my heel right up against the outside of my thigh, which is what we're looking for in the hero position. But you can also see that I'm still a little tilted. I can't get myself as even, like super even. So if I was going to do a hero from here, I probably would put a little bit of blanket or something underneath my right sit bone. My right sit bone is not down on the ground. And where I'm feeling this a lot of is just right here, the top of my quad. I don't feel it in my hip socket. So we're just going to hold this for just another couple seconds, just getting as straight as you can, just letting that adjust. So this is the, like, kind of the first layer of this internal stuff that we're going to do, and then release that. And then just go back to your other leg in the hero. So now, because now we've worked that inside position a little bit. Sit up as tall as you can, and then test. See, can you get that left sit bone on the ground? Well, on this side I can't. I have to push with my arm a little bit, because I still have a little bit of resistance here, but not like the other side. Now actually I feel this a little bit in my hip, but I have actually a decent position. We're just going to stay here, sit up as tall as you can. Now you can refine this position. How do you do that? That's why we're doing this again. You can take this inner thigh, pull it towards the other thigh, and then pull the femur back into the socket, and that will square you up, and you'll feel both inner thighs engage. And then keep that line and try to relax your knee. Just let that knee go. And you can't really see my heel, but it's because of the angle that I'm at, but it's right here on the outside of my thigh. So Lisa, I know you're there. And so I bet you are enjoying this one. This is a good one, because just imagine us doing this with a knee on the bolster and our back against the wall. That's just a continuation with a little bit more hip opening of this, how this starts. So just another 15 seconds here, just letting those lines release. And you know, for me on this side, because my rotators are so tight, my external rotators, I have so much external rotation. As I pull this leg in and pull this hip back, I can feel those start to stretch. And then I also feel like down the outside of my shin that I'm sitting on. But sometimes you don't feel those if the pose is really complex. So my goal here is to really go through these simple pieces so that when we finally put this all together, we have this like deeper understanding of the whole thing. And see, now I got another release through my hip, my sit bone's going down just a little bit further. Lisa says, I am
so not.
So not. Lisa says, I am so not. I getcha. All right, and then release that. Yep, just let that knee be happy and straight. Yeah, and then we're going to go on to the other side. A lot of times we just get in these positions and we go right back into like a reclining position. And you can even see this leg is rotated out. That's because I'm listening to my left. So without my hand, I have to really push. But you don't want to have to use this side of your body because we're trying to relax. So you could even use a block here, push down, and just get your body to the right as best as you can. So block or no block. I think I'm going to keep using that block. It's here. I'm trying to just prop myself up. My elbow is straight so I don't have to really feel that. I'm pulling my shoulder blade down. And now I'm just letting this leg adjust. And so for me, like I said, this is my knee on this side. And I can now start to feel that down the inside of my shin on the right side. And I feel a little bit more drop. My leg's starting to come back to almost parallel. It's not quite there yet. And it drops a little bit more. It just takes time. It takes time, and you have to understand like where you're going. So I'm constantly trying to push this hip down, and again the refinement, pulling the knee to the inside, pulling that hip socket back. How much can you get? And it's all just little pieces of this, little pieces of that. We can't just yank that leg down and jam the hip into the ground. You know, we need to just go as far as the body will allow, right? And then if you just stay there and wait for it, you know, things will happen. Yes, things will happen. Just another couple seconds here. So I'm doing 2-minute holds on these with these little refinements, just seeing what we can, you know, get from that. All right, now we're going to release that. Let that leg go straight. Wiggle it around. All right, so that's internal rotation, right? But it also affects the knee because the knee has a little motion. You know, it doesn't just bend straight, right? It bends straight. Okay, I'm not, there we go. Yeah. It'll bend straight, but It'll also have a little bit of external and a little internal rotation as we get to the ends of that. All right, so either get your block. I'm going to use my meditation cushion. You'll need both blocks for this. Actually, so you can sit on the ground, that's what I meant to say, or you could sit on your bolster. I'm going to sit on my cushion here. Going to slide forward, pull my feet in. So now we're in the opposite of what we just did, right? This is tailor sit. We're going to do tailor sit with a little bit of proprioception stretching. So what I want you to do though is put your blocks underneath your knees, all right? And then we're going to put our hands on the tops of our knees. Now, if you can get your knees to the ground without the blocks, like if you can push your knee all the way down to the ground, so I'm tilted a little bit. I'm almost there, but not quite. Then you don't need these blocks. But the blocks are nice because you don't want to push the joint too far, because then all you'll get is resistance. So we want the joint to open. We don't want it to fight us. So we're just going to put our hands down on our knees so that we're pushing our knees down into the block, right? Now what we want to do is we want to take your thigh and we're going to pull it up, but against the resistance of your arm. Right? This is also known as PNF stretching. So we're going to do both at the same time. So I'm pushing down, right? Now I'm going to try to pull my legs up off the blocks, and at the same time I'm fighting it with my arms. And we're going to hold each one for 10 seconds. So ready, go, pull, pull, keep pulling up, pushing down, pull, pull, feel your inner thighs, pull, pull, and release. We'll do that again. But before we do it again, if you're on the blocks, see if you've gotten a little bit more drop, which I have. Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's try that again. So knees on your blocks, or, knees on the floor. And if your knees are on the floor, then you don't really need this little exercise here. Make sure your heels are as close to your crotch as you can get them, right? And then actually what's nice about the bolster is that it makes it a little bit easier to pitch forward. All right, so hands on your knees, pitch forward a bit, press down. Now pull up, fight it, pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up, and release. Move the blocks. Yep, got just a little bit more. All right, and we're just going to do that one more time. So blocks underneath your knees or knees on the ground, hands, pitch forward, press down as hard as you can, and then we lift up, up, and 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 release. All right. Move your blocks. And then if you're on a bolster or a cushion, just move yourself forward. And actually that's pretty good. I got a little bit. My knees are almost down to the ground. Not quite though. So external rotation, right? Now, we're going to push our feet forward, flex like we did, go all the way out to straight, and then release. All right. So just one more little weird thing today. And so cross your ankle just right over your knee. And then we're going to take our fingers and we're going to put our fingers between each toe, right? We're just going to do one at a time today. All right. Now, they have things now called toe stretchers. But you have fingers, so you can do this toe stretching without those little devices. What's kind of cool about those devices is that you can put them on and leave them there for a long time. I mean, it'd be really hard to do anything but this, right? If you're going to use your hands. All right, so now we've been in here. My fingers have been in here for about 30 seconds, and pretty much the pain is gone. Just a little discomfort, right? Now I want you to get your thumb and put it on your big toe, and you're going to pull your big toe back, all right? So you're going to provide some kind of resistance, and then you're going to take your big toe and you're going to try to push. I don't know if you could see. Yeah, you can see this better here. So I'm going to take my thumb is pulling my big toe back, right? And I'm going to take my big toe and push it against my thumb. You can feel the hallucis muscles working, right? All right, so you don't have to move your ankle, so we're just pulling the big toe back, and then you're resisting. So if you practice Ashtanga, you do this a lot. Now, as we resist, you can feel this muscle working. So we're trying to push that big toe away. Keep holding. I'm actually now holding with my index finger and my thumb. Now we're going to keep holding. You can feel this in the bottom of your foot, right? Why would we want to do this? Well, like I said, feet are neglected. So this is stretching everything, but it's also just isolating this action of the big toe, the hallucis muscle. All right, so we're just pulling it down. I can feel it working all the way to the inside of my heel, and then release. Now we're going to do a couple of squeezing all of our toes down like we're trying to make a fist with our foot. So just pull them and release. Pull them and release. Pull them and release. Pull them, a couple more. Pull them and release. All right, stretch them out. Now flex your ankle and spread your toes apart. Push them apart. Yes, try to get them all apart. You can feel it's, I guess we should have done it first. Yeah, and release. But before we do the other foot, can you feel the toes and the bottom of your foot a little clearer, right? Yeah. All right, other leg. So pull your other leg up. And then I'm using the same hand. Could you use the opposite hand? I guess you could. But I'm using the same hand. So creep your fingers between your toes. Yep. All right, so once they're there, like right now, they don't feel that good, right? But now what's happening is my right foot, I'm getting some nice tingles all the way through the sole and through the foot, through the toes. So just let that adjust, let that relax. And now take your thumb to your big toe, right? And then push your big toe away from you, or feel like your big toe is trying to pull into the arch. And we're just going to hold that. You don't have to move your foot. I was just trying to give you a better view of my foot, because you can't really see it with my fingers, but now you can kind of see that I'm trying to go this way with my big toe, and I have to really resist with my thumb. And like I said, if you're an Ashtanga practicer, then you do a lot of this big toe stuff. Now what I'm noticing is that my left toe is way weaker than my right toe. Pull. Keep pulling back, keep pulling trying to feel that muscle pop in the arch. It's going to pop, and then it's going to come from the inside of the arch and up through the ankle. Pull. Keep going. Pulling it down. Pulling it down. James, what did I think Lisa asked me a question.
What if knees don't hit blocks?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't catch your question, Lisa, until I'm on to something else. You have to then put pillows on top of your blocks. You could put also the block like closer up to your hip. I'm sorry about that. Keep pulling that foot just a little bit more. We're almost on 30 more seconds. Pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling. Pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling. 10 seconds to go. And release and pull. Just move it. Release, pull, release, pull. One more time. Release, pull. And out. Stretch your legs out in front and stretch those toes. Yep. Stretch. Yeah, there we go. Stretch both sides. Push. And pull. We're going to do it again. Push them open. And curl. Push them open. And curl just one more time. And push them open. And curl. All right. So next week we'll be adding actually this hand between the toes to some forward flexion. And I won't talk as much about all those little pieces next week, so we'll be able to get, more of this down. All right. So move your pillow if you have one. I guess we're not really going to get to the strap, but we will get to these blocks again. So back down onto your spine. Your feet feel different. All right, now we're going to pull our heels in. If you can reach and grab your ankles without popping your heels up, do it. If not, we're just going to tuck our tailbone under and push up into that straight line. All right, now we're going to use that internal external rotation of the hip, add it to this back extension and the hamstring glute work, and we're going to do these circles. They're half circles. So you're going to push your hips as far to the right as you can. So then what happens here is the left leg's going internal rotation, the right hip is going slightly external. You'll see how I'm rolling to the inside of my left foot and the outside of my right foot. So let that happen. All right, so you're going to push your hips to the right, and then you're going to swing them down towards the ground. They're going to barely touch the floor, and then you're going to go back to the right and push them up. Then we're going to go to the left. So slowly, as you push your hips to the left, you go to the inside of that right leg to the outside of the left leg. So again, internal, external rotation, opposite on these legs. Push as far to the side as you can. swing it down, and then go back to the left. So left, push, up, go right, swing down, push right, go up, and left, swing down, push left, swing up, go right and down, go right and up, go left and down, go left and up, go right and down, go right and up, go left and down, go left and up, go right and down, go right and up, go left and down, go left and up, go right and down, go right and up, go left and down, go left and up, go right and down, go right and up, go left and down, go left and up, go right and down, go right and up, go left and down, go left and up, go right and down, go right and up, go left and down, go left and up, go right and down, and right and up, and left, circle down, and left, one more set, and right and down, and right and up, and left and down, and left and up. So release the upper back, the middle back, tuck way under, waist, and then pull the knees in. And then just rock it back and forth. Stretch the legs straight up. Flex the ankles. Now feel your pubic bone pull towards your rib cage. So you feel that waist pressing down on the ground. So we're going to take our legs from here and we're going to pull the pubic bone towards us as we lower our legs to 45. Make sure your low back stays on the ground and then pull them up. If you can go lower, but don't let the back arch at all. So just right now, if you let your pelvis go, the legs will go forward and you'll feel that waist come off the ground. That stays. So we inhale here, and then exhale. Use your stomach to pull. If you can go lower, you go lower, and then inhale up. And exhale, pull. I'm pulling my pubic bone. Inhale up. And exhale, pull. 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 Inhale up. And exhale, waist stays down. Inhale up. And exhale, pull. Inhale up. One more. Exhale, pull. Inhale up. Bend the knees. Wrap your arms. Just relax here a sec. So, warming up the hip flexors and the stomach. So, this series has a lot of core work, a lot of stomach, a lot of hip flexors in it. We won't get there today, but I am going to do the sides. So, take a block and you can put it between your knees or you can put it between your ankles. Now, arms are to the side. We're going to take our knees and push them out over our hip socket. So even right here, you really feel that low back pressing and your stomach working. So this is going to go inhale, drop to the sides, exhale, pull. Now, if you can do this with legs straight, you do it with legs straight. If you feel any discomfort in that low back as we're going, what you have to do is go back to knees. All right? So, we're going to go to the right first. Inhale, go to the right, take your feet towards your hands. That foot can come up. Exhale, center. Not the foot, the shoulder. Inhale, don't let the shoulder come up, Foot. Exhale, center. Go to the right. Inhale, keep your left shoulder down so your foot's only going to get as close to your hand as it can get with that shoulder down. Exhale, center. It's hard to talk and do this. Inhale, left. Exhale, center. Inhale, right. Exhale, center. Inhale, left. Exhale, center. Inhale, right. Exhale, center. Inhale, left. Exhale, center. Just one more set today. Inhale, right. Exhale, center. Inhale, left. Exhale, center. Bend the knees. Wiggle them. Roll yourself up. So we're going to do just a little bit of rocking here. So we're going to roll back onto our spine, and then we're going to try to kip our hips up to the ceiling, and then we roll back up to sitting. So it looks like this, and up, and push, and up, and push, and up, and push, and then try to keep the feet off the ground if you can. Push, and up, push, and up, push, and up. Again, push, and up, push, and up, push, and up, push, couple more, push, up, push, up, push, up, plus one, push, up, stay. So your back is straight, holding on to your knees. Lift your chest. Couple big inhales. Keep pushing your pelvis towards your thighs, right? Feel the shoulder blades go down. Now, we're going to let go in a couple seconds and hold for 1 minute. If you can't do it, if your spine starts collapsing, you can't keep that pelvis forward, then you're just going to have to hold back on and let go. So feel your hip flexors pull into your thighs, and your thighs pull into your hip flexors, and just breathe. Fifteen more seconds. And release. Roll that in. Grab your blocks. So you're going to put them behind you. Stack them. You can also do this with one, but this is actually a little more stable, believe it or not. So we're going to come up, put our sacrum on the blocks, roll back, hold on to that block a second. So really you want to feel like your sacrum is on top of that block. Just getting a little bit. There we go. I hold on to the blocks the whole time. All right, then we're going to leave our left leg up, and then you're just going to stretch that right leg. All right, now, if you let your back go, you feel that weight of the thigh pulling the whole pelvis forward. We don't want that. What I want you to do is pull your pubic bone so that you feel that low back stay long. And so what I'm feeling is I have my sacrum on the block. Just going to keep my sacrum on the block using my stomach. And I'm just going to let that left leg stretch. Now my leg is nowhere near the ground, but I bet you some of you guys have your feet on the ground. Keep your knee tight, and then just feel that right hip socket lengthen. You got to keep your knee tight. You're just breathing. Of course, your stomach is working. Low stomach. And because this leg is up, you know, it's not really that much work. But keep breathing. They're long holds, so you can't not breathe and make it through. Slowly just pull that up. Bend the right leg. Pull the pubic bone and stretch that left leg to straight. Make sure the quad is tight and just let it go. holding on to your stomach. All right, this time we're just going to bend that knee, foot to the ground, other foot to the ground. So we're in the supported bridge just for a couple seconds here. And then we're going to move our blocks, roll through nice and slow. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Drop that to the left, sorry. And your shoulder can come up here if you want. Or, for me to get my knee down, my shoulder needs to come up. So I'm going to kind of hover somewhere just in between. Slowly pulling that up and change. And slowly pull that up. Both legs long into the corpse for just a minute. Roll the legs in and out. Big inhale. Reach out. And exhale. Roll yourself up to sitting. All right, everybody. That is it. That's barely a quarter of the material. So it's going to be an interesting summer. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. Namaste and happy 4th.